Hello there, and welcome. And after saying in my last video that I didn't have very much left to say about Ruhr Sieg Nord, I was proved wrong. So I've noticed that on social media just recently, and I don't know if this is because lots of people have just bought the game or what, but a lot of people seem to be getting confounded by the scenarios that involve starting the trains up from scratch. So I thought I'd do a little video just showing you how to get around the two most common problems I've noticed people are having. So first of all, go and have a look at Rise and Shine, which is the short introductory scenario that buggers everybody up. Common complaint is that people can't get the train to move at the end of it. There is a reason why that happens, and we'll show you that just now. Then we'll have a look at the power car move scheduled service, where you have to start the two other types of locomotive from scratch, and how to get that one moving, because a lot of people seem to be having problems with that one too. So I have turned my objective markers back on for this. If you've seen my other videos, you know I don't normally have them on, but just to help follow what's happening here. Excuse me. So we're actually heading down this way. I thought I'd turn the objective markers back on. Ah, we're gonna get splatted. Nothing actually happens except you get pushed all the way back up the track and have to run back down here again, so there's no comedic value to it, honestly. I've tried. So here we are. So to move we need to activate both ends of the train basically. Right, so the first end we're setting up is the far away end. And just do what it tells you on the prompts. Turn your torch on if you need to, right on the D-pad. So set the battery to start, set the pantograph to rear. And just follow the instructions here again. So set the reverser to reverse. And we need to wait for the brakes to charge. So what you can do, just to help you see it a little bit clearer, turn the instrument lights on. And it's this red needle here we're waiting to charge up. It's a sort of safety feature of the thing. You can't raise the pantograph to draw from the main supply until these have reached a certain level. Whether that's something that's just in the game or whether it's built into the actual train, I don't know. So raise the pantograph, you'll hear the hiss and the snap, and then you'll hear the click and the bang when you do this. So it wants us to set the driver's brake to full service, which we do. And now it tells us to set it to release. Now this is where most people make a mistake, because what it wants you to do is to simply move it to the release position and let go of it straight away, like this. What most people do though is this, and they hold it in for too long. That's what causes your problem later on, and I'll show you how to fix that. So put the reverser back to neutral for now, and set the driver's brake off. Again, a lot of people will flick it the wrong way on the controller first. I just wanted to make sure it was completely overdone. So we put the red lights on. Last thing we need to do, release the handbrake here. It's a click and drag job. And that's us, we're done at this end. Oh, where's my torch? Where's the door? Oh. Okay, so back up to the head end now. So board the train, close the door. And we turn the battery on. Might want your torch, you might not. So we set the signal headlights. So we basically just do what the prompts tell you to do here. Close the blinds. Okay, and your torch will automatically go out. So activate the brake key, which is here, and set the reverser as so. Still follow the instructions, so brakes all the way on. Let them back out again. And we can raise the pantograph and open the circuit breaker. So at this point it tells you can move. There are a couple of other things that you should also do, which is to turn the train line power on and turn the coach lights on. Now, what happens here is we've released the brakes, we put the power on, nothing happens. That's because we overcharged the brakes at the beginning. You'll see it on these brake gauges here, on this middle one, there is still a bar of pressure. That is what's holding us back. So make sure your throttle's off, release the brake, and press the overcharge button. Hold it down till the brake pressure is gone. And we're off. It's that simple. And all you do is you just take it up to the platform here. And that's it. You can turn PZB and CIFA on as well if you like. You have to be very careful here not to go past this signal though. So you want to be just in that circle and no more. And that's it. So open your left hand doors, the people will get on. That's it. And the train line power and the coach lights that we turned on. That was just the lights inside the coaches here. And that's it, you finished that first scenario. So the second thing I'm going to look at is more cold starts, and this is the power car moves, of which there are 4 for each of the 2 locomotives that can do it. So you can do it with the BR143 or the BR185. Going to do it with the 185. We'll just do it on a nice clear day, I think. So there are 2 of these going north and 2 going south. It's Hagen to Werdal's the first bit. We'll do the second bit. Werdal to Kreutzel is the second part of that journey, heading south along the line. And the northbound one is, I think... Where are they? They're a bit later on. One's at about 5 o'clock. (4:15), so that's the northbound service. First half of it, and then you do the second part of it later on in the day. So we'll do the... Yeah, we'll do the afternoon part. So we've already moved it from Hagen to Verdal. But in both these, both the southbound scenarios for the 185 and for the 143, the thing will start completely cold. And a lot of people find that even when they get the thing started up, they still can't get it to move. Again, it's quite straightforward, but the game doesn't actually tell you what the hell you're supposed to do. Bit of a funky load in there. I'm also going to get rid of the objective marker because it has just spawned over where we're going in the end. It's not much use to us in the cab. So here we are, it's dark, everything's turned off. The first thing you want to do, turn the battery on, so hold it down for 5 seconds. Yellow light comes on. Put your master switch forward. And we have to wait for the brakes to charge now. As this needle here needs to get up to about 5. Make it a bit easier to see. Church is a minute late with its bell. So now that that's charged up, we can raise the pantograph. You'll see this little red light turns blue when I do it. And close the main circuit breaker there. And then just turn on the train line power, which turns on the power going through the couplings and what have you. So that's the lead unit started. So I'm going to leave it in neutral while I go and do a couple of things. So what you have to do now is you have to come down the train and turn off all the handbrakes that have been applied. Which, you remember from the last video, or the first part of the video, is this thing here. But while we're here, let's turn on the thing, give ourselves a bit more juice, because you can actually turn on all 6 of these and have all 6 of them working together for absolutely incredible performance, whereas if you just turn the first one on, it's really, really heavy. So once you've turned the battery on and selected the rear pantograph, just put your reverser into forward, check that the brakes are charged up beyond 8, and raise the pantograph, open the circuit breaker, reverser back to neutral, we're done. So now we've got 2 locomotives turned on. So again, see this one's dead as we get in. Doesn't take as long as you would think to turn these all on once you know what to do. So just flick it to start. Rear pantograph. Nip in here. Put the reverser forward. You don't even need to sit in the driver's seat, you can do it all from the click switches. And we'll just let the brake off there. And this one a little bit different, have to hold the battery switching for 5 seconds. You'll see the brake light come on just next to it. There we go. And this is exactly the same. Just move the master switch forward. Those brakes are charged. Can't see the needle very well on the stream. The pantograph actually goes up by itself on the 185 if you've already selected it on the lead unit. Yeah, I did turn that on, didn't I? And to release the handbrake, just press that button, and a couple of seconds later, brakes go off. So again, battery on. Put the master switch forward. Now, it'll sometimes come up and ask us if we want to give up control of the thing because we've got out of the cab. Now, you just say no and it'll let you keep control. So the pantograph's gone up by itself. Just open the circuit breaker and turn that back off. Release the brake and can just wait to check that it does go out. I've occasionally had it not go out on me before. So battery, power handle, that's already gone up. That's it started. Don't think you actually need to turn this on the tail unit, but it doesn't hurt. And then again, just remember to release the parking brake. So last thing to do is I'm going into the very back cab, turn the lights on, set that to tail lights, and switch that. All that does, just make sure that your rear lights are on. So all 6 are now switched on, the handbrakes are off, every single one of them, and we've got a green signal. So at this point you can just get back in the cab, remember to let your own handbrake off, and at this point you can just you can sit down and go. I like to put the PZB on and the CFA on, which you absolutely don't have to. No, I'm about to sit down. Right. And the one other thing I'm going to turn on is the AFB. Again, you don't have to use this. Right, we're now holding up someone else, so oh, he's just a freight train, it doesn't matter. Reverser into forward. Just cycle the brakes, release those, And oh, tell you what I forgot to do is switch that to modo, because we're going to be going pretty quick. So AFB, and then just tell it how much power you're going to give it. Off we pop. And that's it, that's how you start both those cabs. Literally one lever, two buttons, and you're good to go most of the time. There is a checklist in the manual as well, which is quite good. And you can see even just with half the power being given to it, its acceleration is tremendous. If you give it full power, it will just, yeah, it'll actually overshoot the target speed sometimes. And with the 6 car, with all 6 cars given their power, you never ever need to touch the brakes on this thing either. Just turning the AFB back down will do it. Even for signals, it's usually enough. Wouldn't rely on it if you're pulling an actual train though. You do need to brake then.
SIFA beeinflussung.
So unless there's any signals or anything or any traffic ahead of me, which I doubt because we were in that siding for quite a little while, I don't know how much else there's going to be to see on this. That's certainly all the startups are done. But as always, I do leave these up after I've done them, so you will be able to go back and check that fairly shortly. The one with the DB767 especially confounded me for ages with the overcharge button. I think a lot of people have toiled with that one. But the handbrake thing with these power car trains is it stumped me for a while as well, I have to admit. Speed limit change coming up. Can't remember if this one's guarded by PZB or not, but I'll acknowledge it as I go past in about a kilometre's time, just in case. And I'm just going to use the AFB to brake because These 6 units together just generate tremendous power. Really struggles to hit that target speed. Now why the hell am I in mode M? Oh, for goodness sake. Right, okay. I've just realised what's happened. Right, okay, so despite the fact I switched it into mode O down here, PZB is still running in mode M. And I think it's because it's still switched into mode M and all the other cars behind me. So it's not a disaster, we can get underway quite easily again. I just need to remember that PZB stays in mode M and we'll be fine. Right, so we can take it up to about 65 without any problem just now. I'm only giving it about 20% of the available power, that's all we need. So I'll need to try at some point switching the modes on all those locomotives behind me and see if that gives me the PZB mode that I was after. So not very far to go now anyway. It might get a couple of signals or something on the way into Finnentrop. Usually do. So passing a speed limit increase just as we enter the tunnel. It's such a short train, it takes practically no time for the back end to pass the sign. And there we go. Normally give myself 5 kilometers an hour in hand as well, but as long as you're gentle with it, this thing will actually sit pretty much on the limit. Sometimes you just need to remember to make a bit less power available to it as it reaches full speed. If you've been accelerating pretty hard. So there's a speed limit change coming up ahead, so I know to watch for the the warning sign and the PZB magnet about a kilometre away. There it is there. Don't even know if there is actually PZB on this one. There might be. And there is. So as long as I remember to bring the speed down below 70 this time, like so. Now you can see AFB overcooks it slightly, but it doesn't matter, it gets it back really quickly. So might as well just stick to the speed limit. It's coming up, there's no point trying to accelerate because we'll be slowing down instantly, more or less. It goes back up again fairly shortly, it's just to get us round a tight bend. Clearly spending way too much time with this, when I know that. So, picking it up again already. And a little bit more. And I'm not sure, I think maybe 110's about the fastest we're going to get to go. Maybe not even that. Okay, so 4 kilometres to go. Time to start paying attention for signals and things. There's a distant signal coming up at clear, so we're all right for now. We should find another one about, we should find the main one about a kilometre down the track. So the main's clear as well, that's fine. It doesn't hurt to keep your cursor just somewhere near the AFB lever. I've not worked out a way to... there's no way to bind it to your pad, and the keyboard controls just awkward as with it. So it's actually easiest to work it just from the clicky grabby thing. So that signal's flashing, that's telling me there's a speed limit reduction, and I need to acknowledge it as well. So it's 50 kilometres an hour is the speed it was showing me. The yellow 5 telling me 50. Most trains won't stop that quickly, won't slow down that quickly for it, obviously. Now, we've got there a caution signal, which tells us, it told us two things. It told us the speed limit is currently 50, but because it's a caution it means I have to expect a red at the next one, so I'm just going to trim the speed a little bit more to make it easier to be within PZB requirements if I see a red. We're coming off the main line now anyway, so... And the speed does drop to 40 in these side yards. But I need to be able to drop the speed off to 35, to below 35 almost instantly if I see a red. Just to make sure I don't get stopped at the 500 hertz magnet. So you can actually see we're almost at the stopping point anyway. And again, at no point do I need to touch the brakes when I'm just using this sixth locomotive setup. And that's it. So that was a guide on how to start these German trains up from scratch, and more importantly, how to get that first scenario moving. Because at no point anywhere does the game ever tell you about that magic release button. So hopefully that was of help to somebody somewhere. Big blurry pause. And I think this just drives away with magic appearing, materialising driver. You've left the door open. And yeah, that is how fast it will take off. So that's where I'm going to leave that one there. As always, thanks very much for your time, and I'll be back probably when Transpennine drops. Bye bye.